We're going to switch gears and do something completely different now to AF Applet. And what we want to do will require changes back to AF Database. Our ultimate goal is to have our AF Applet view notifications belonging to a selected tank. The videos in this section will walk you through the steps to help you reach that goal. Taking a small step back, this means we need to have something trigger a notification. That is, we need to come up with some reason for having a notification in the first place. Well, since we're dealing with tanks, it seems like a natural and an intuitive fit, to me anyway, to create notifications based on tank level crossing some threshold. So that's what we're going to do. But there's several things we must configure in order to reach that ultimate goal, and each video in this section is broken down to do those specific things along the way. Which means the immediate task we're first going to be faced with will be add limit traits to the level attribute template, add an optional enumeration set, and then we're going to create event frames for capturing data when that level crosses a high or a low threshold. Note I said event frames, plural, because I plan to have a base event frame template for a general tank level alarm, and then have specific alarms for whether it's a high or a low limit being violated. To add the traits, we're going to jump to the library to the tank element template, and we're going to select the level attribute, right-click it, and we're going to add limits. And you'll see we're prompted with many choices, but we're going to choose low, 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 high, 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 and click OK. So adding those traits did a couple of things, and you may not have detected it right away. For one, it adds child attributes underneath level, and they're giving those same names of high, 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 etc. And two, it actually, if we click on one of them, you'll see that its properties are set to let us know what particular type of property it is, which also matches the name, but you are free to change the names here if you so desire. Maybe not a good idea sometimes, but you are given that freedom. And if you look when these were created, the limits were giving some default values. Well, right now they're static attributes. So an attribute being an attribute, you could have just as easily have had these be pi points. But for the simplicity of our examples and not getting too deep into things, we're going to go ahead and keep these as static attributes. So that's a change on the tank template itself. We're going to go ahead and check in those changes. And I'll click refresh for grins. We're going to jump over to the elements. And as you notice, as we look at a tank and we pop it open, you can see that now each tank has limit traits with the default values, mind you. But it is possible that on a given tank you can override them from the template. And for instance, for high, let's say we want to go ridiculously low to something like 70. And high, we could even make higher. Low, we'll switch to 30, and we'll let low be 5. So as you can see, that's a change that was made to tank 1. When we jump to tank 2, it still has the defaults that were derived from the template. Okay, so we have our limit traits defined. Next up, I'm going to create an enumeration set for listing the various alarm levels. Now this is purely optional, but hopefully as we build it out, you're going to see why I like to do it this way. For one, well, we don't really want an overly complicated example for this class for fear of people getting lost. But at the same time, we really don't want an overly simple example that you could have just easily read in a help file somewhere. So I've tried to come up with an example that is quite similar to things I've done in the past for other customers. That said, what we're now going to do is create an enumeration set that will be named alarm state. We go to library, enumeration sets where we've already got one. We will do a new one. As I said, we're going to call it alarm state. and we're going to put in values. Well, we'll just put in names and values will be automatically populated. And as you see out to the left, I'm getting numeric values put in, and these are going to be important for us to remember their specific numbers a little bit later, and you'll see that why. So on one hand, I could have come in here and said, let's call this tank level state. And the problem is that's very specific, and you may have the need to do a lot of types of alarms. So I personally prefer a more generic alarm state. That said, I do like to do a couple of things. While things like high and low have a meaning to plant operators, I prefer something simpler like critical high and critical low. So there we go with that. So I'm going to go ahead and check in these changes yet again. And so what we are now ready to do is we've needed this information before we configure event frame template. So our next step will be to create that template.